Hello and welcome to the Foxy Bros podcast. I am your host, Niall Fox, aka Foxy, and I'm joined today by two very interesting and funny men. Both have been involved in the Irish wrestling scene. One is now accredited, I should say, cosplayer, as well as a potential actor in the future. I'm joined today by the Snake Man, Vic Viper, and the man to know, Gerry Soul. How are you two doing?
I love that you talk about me as an accredited cosplayer and a possible actor, and said fuck all about him. I love that.
What's there to say? He'll tell you himself.
There's nothing. There's nothing to say.
No. I'll sign off now. Hold on, sorry, lad.
Bye.
Just have to give him an excuse to talk about myself. It's great. But
yeah, that Jer fella never shuts up, does he?
No, but obviously, yeah. Everyone's fed up with this the way situation is going. I don't really want to dwell on it too much because it's just a pain in the hole. But how have you been holding up?
I've been fine. I've been at home with the family now for 12 weeks now? 12 weeks since we started.
It would be about 12 weeks now at this stage, yeah.
I've been at home with the family pretty much that whole time. For me, it's been great. I get to sit at home and do nothing. It's been great. I get to play video games.
That's the voice of a man who hates his job.
Oh yeah. I can't name the job, but
No, but
no, I'm not allowed to name the job. But no, I've enjoyed it. My wife, before this all started, had bought me a hot tub, one of those inflatable hot tubs, and we said, "Oh, we have to break it out now with the good weather," and we've just been living in it. I had to get the chemicals and all for the chlorine. Because I had no idea how to use one of these things. So I got it, and 5 days later, the fucking water was green. I'm like, we can't get in that. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, no, we can't get in that. No. So I had to order the chemicals and all in. But once I learned how to do all that, it's been great. My son has practically lived in it. Absolutely loves it, and especially with this good weather, it's been fantastic. So no, we've been doing fine. I know a lot of people out there haven't been. I know a lot of people are struggling out there and whatnot, but we've been fine. I think my wife's getting a little bit bored now, and she's just like, "When can we go to the pub?" I was like, "No, we can't go to the pub."
If only.
So maybe one of these days. But no, I've been fine. How have you been getting on, Vic?
Busy. I unfortunately haven't got. Yeah, I've been working more than I have been beforehand, because I'm down to minimal amount of people because everyone's trying to work from home or people aren't allowed to travel or that. So yeah, I still have the same amount of work to try and do and the same amount of staff to organise. So it's been kind of tough going, but
he's after freezing.
Oh, technical difficulties.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
At least I have the option of.
Hold on. You froze there for a good 20 seconds.
Oh.
Right, no, keep going, but keep going.
It
doesn't need to be edited. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know where it stopped or where it started.
Your minimal amount of people in your team.
Yes.
He's got to get.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, what I was saying.
No, Vic, you're gone again.
Quite lucky in the fact that, as you just say.
Oh my God!
No, he's gone again.
Oh no! There we go. He's moving now.
Connection.
Is he moving?
Yeah, he's moving.
It's that stupid Ashburn Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's that country Wi-Fi. Stop putting together with cow shit and use fiber cable.
But obviously, you're down to the minimum amount of manpower in your job,
no. What I'm saying is, I'm lucky in the way that I'm still working, so I'm getting out of the house every day. I'm still going into work, and I'm still spending a long time or most of my day doing that. So when I'm coming home, instead of it feeling like I'm trapped in the house, it's kind of like I come home, I chill out for an hour or two, I eat, maybe watch something, and then I'm going to bed because I'm back in work. So it's only really the weekends where I'm feeling it a bit more, because like that, as Jerry was saying, instead of being like, go to the pub, go out to a shop, go do something, even just go for a wander, you can't do that. And that's the only time I'm feeling it. So I'm quite lucky that I'm able to go to work and still have a job, and that's how I'm in. It's I'm taking the good with the bad. That's all you can really do at the moment, isn't it?
True.
Because so many people are out of work, and so many people are never going to go back to work, really, or not the jobs they had anyway. But
I've been lucky in the sense that, as I said, I don't particularly like my job, but
they'll reopen.
They've been very good to us. They've paid us since day one. They haven't stopped paying us.
Yeah,
and it's not a thing that they're getting funding from the government or anything like that. They're just paying us. That's it. They haven't stopped. So I am very grateful to them for that. Yesterday we did not yesterday. The whole weekend was a thing for Laura Lynn charity. Where a lot of the staff, now I'm not going to say all staff, but I'd say it was a fairly large portion of staff, did a 5 to 10K walk in aid of Laura Lynn, and a lot of donations went in. We were looking for $5,000 in terms of donations. We got 6. Now, Paddy Power said that they're going to match anything up to the $5,000, but I think they might throw that extra €1,000 in and give us the 6 to get us over the line for 12,000 raised for charity. So it's they've been quite good, so I've been very lucky.
So much for not mentioning the company name.
Yeah, that lasted
all of 3 minutes. I'm not gonna say.
Well, Foxy, you can edit the shit out of that now.
I ain't.
You're gonna have to now. You're gonna have to put a little blank there across his mouth and all.
Beep. Like, boom, clap. There you go. No, but obviously, like, it's two different perspectives. That like one's work, and then one is unfortunately being sent home to sit out, whereas I'm unemployed. Go figure. But
so you were just a lazy bastard. Okay, fair enough.
A little bit, but like,
he was unemployed anyway. He's just one of them.
Yeah, one of them. Fuck me, right? But,
no, I'd rather not. Thanks.
Well, did you stop working because of this then, Foxy? Or
no. I stopped. I got let go from my job last August.
Okay.
Because the store. Yeah, I got let go, Jerry.
Yeah, let go. Yeah.
Putting air quotes. Fuck you.
Yeah. Let go. Fired out the fucking door, but yeah, let go.
Let go because like the shop closed, so I had no choice in that matter.
All right.
Yeah. But no, but it's I'm same as Jerry. I've been in the house. I'm unfortunately, like, myself, my son, and my mom are high risk. So our ventures outdoors is next to nothing. Like, haven't left really. Only to do the essential, like weekly shopping, and that's it. But other than that, it's the missus that's doing the majority of the ventures. But on brighter notes, so we all know each other through wrestling, and I imagine some people want to know how or when we met. So yeah. Yeah.
That's going back a while.
Yeah. So I know I met Vic back in 2006, but I didn't meet Gerry until at least 2007, 2008, I think, because I met you through CPW. Yeah, I went to a couple of shows.
That's a look of where he's like, you went to CPW?
Yeah. Like, it was in passing. They were very brief encounters.
Okay.
But it wasn't like we properly met each other and started talking with each other in 2010.
Was that CCW? No, not CCW. No. DCW.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. DC.
Yeah. But obviously,
all the
like
good names coming out.
That's how. Like, that's when I met you, Gerry, and also Vic. But people wouldn't really know when you two met each other.
Oh wow! Okay.
That would have been 22 years ago.
Yes. No.
21. Yeah. No, 22.
Were we 14?
Yeah.
I thought we were 15. Right, okay. Well, basically, how we met was I used to visit my cousin who lived in Ashburn. And one of her friends just happened to be Vic. Now, at the time, he was about 2 feet tall. And that's no joke. He was really fucking small. He was really, really small. I was looking at this. Who's the 7-year-old? What's going on here? And then literally, I'd say it was about a year later, I came back and he was about my height with a beard down to his bollocks. So I was like, oh okay. He's definitely still a dwarf. Now, he's like a Gimli with a big fucking beard and whatnot. So we had seen each other kind of a little bit on and off when I would visit my cousin. But I didn't really, hadn't really seen Vic in years. And then just one day, I was working in a shop on Dame Street. And I said, I'll go for a bit of lunch. And I walked up and I went to another shop up in Georgia Street. Who's standing behind the counter? Only Vic. And we were like, oh, fuck, it's you. Oh, it's you. And we went from there. And it's just, I've been stuck with him since.
Almost like
so nicely.
Yeah, almost attached to the hip kind of thing.
Yeah.
Stuck with me,
yeah. Like at that point, he was working in one shop, I was working in another. There was a position opened up in my shop, and he said, oh, fuck it, I'll go down there. And we started working together then. So we started to get to know each other a bit more. And for the guts of, like 2.5, maybe 3 years, he practically lived in my house every weekend. Every single weekend he would come in and stay, and we would go to Barcode, which was our local nightclub, and we'd go there some Thursdays, every Friday, every Saturday, the odd Sunday, and then we'd be back to work then on the Monday, and they were like, Jesus, we have to do that again, and we just did that every single weekend for a solid 3 years. How we have livers left, I don't know.
You don't. That's the whole point.
Because it's not like we weren't going out and having a couple of beers. We were going out and drinking this concoction that my cousin had come up with. It was called a blackjack. So it was a shot of gin, a shot of Pernod, a bottle of Smirnoff Ice, and some blackcurrant in a pint glass. And you would drink that. So you'd separate it into 2 pint glasses and drink them. So we'd have maybe 7, 8, or 9 of those. Yeah, so I don't know how we're still alive, but we got there in the end.
Youth kept us alive.
Yeah.
We were fucking young then.
I tell you,
now we die.
There was no hangovers then. Back then, we would go out with the Thursday. We might head into work on the Friday. We'd do the work on the Friday. You come to mine tonight? Yeah, okay. You'd head to mine. We'd go to Barco. We'd stay there till 3 in the morning. We'd come home. We'd get up. We'd have the fry. My mother would have the fry on the Saturday morning. We'd have the 45 pints in the packet of crisps. And we'd go out again that night. And we'd have pre-drinks and all. We would have pre-drinks before we went out on the Saturday night. And then it was the odd, what are you doing? What are you doing on Sunday? I don't know. Might go home. Sure. I might as well stay. We go down because we had a bit of a section down in Barcode. We go back down again. And we'd finish up at 12 o'clock down on the Sunday night then. And I'd say, are you staying in my, come on, we might as well go to work tomorrow morning together. And we go to work tomorrow. It was like the most gayest non-gay gay couple ever. No, honestly.
Oh, Jesus. But like obviously like that must have continued for a few years, but I know you started, both of you started in the same school, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the original Irish Whip.
Original Irish Whip, yeah.
Yeah. So just for people that maybe if they are listening, who was in that initial class with you? Like, who would have been either still around now or is, who would have been noteworthy?
Well, Jared started at a different time to me.
Yeah,
he started a little bit before me.
A couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months before you.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the advertisement for it somewhere. Because I was a big wrestling fan, so I was looking for something. And then I saw this, there was like, amateur wrestling out near Northside. And I was like, I could try that, might give that a go. And then I just saw this thing for IWW on North Strand. And I'm like, oh my God, I could walk this. You hear all these stories about all these wrestlers who have to travel thousands of miles to get training. And mine was 5-minute walk away. I was like, holy shit. And like, how lucky is that? So I remember going over and I met Alex Breslin and I met Joe Cabray. I met Blake Norton, and I'm like, oh my God, I've this is it. This is heaven for me. I get to finally do what I want to do. So of course, in the course of the day, I was like, "Oh, Vic, I found a school. I found a wrestling school." And he was like, "Well, okay, well, I'll give it a go." And that's how we both were in it. I was in it a couple of weeks, and he came in then, and yeah, you would have had who did we have in that class? It was
Well, when I came in, Blake had left.
yeah,
So
he'd just gone.
Joe Cabray actually would have given me my first training class. Who obviously most people now would obviously know through OTT and that.
Yeah.
But Joe gave me my first class, and he basically had Alex beat me up for about an hour as well,
which was great. Yeah, it was fantastic. So
which I thoroughly enjoyed as well. Yeah, but
you had in that class we had Alex, we had Joe Cabray, we had
it was Red Vinny as well.
Red Vinny was there, and Joe's brother was there as well.
Yeah, George was there as well.
George McFly, he would have been known as
that 80s guy.
Exactly. I'm trying to think of who else might be there. People.
Well, there's a few other names of people that will be gone that are never really.
If people know the Irish wrestling, you would have heard the name Dave Zero. He was there.
Mark Spirit.
Mark Spirit or Mark Burns.
Mark
Spirit or Mark Burns. He was there, and I'll never forget that first class. Actually, and you'll remember this. That first class, Foxy, you know where the chop circle is, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You know it very well. You know it too well.
Unfortunately.
So remember, we all got in the chop circle, and everyone started chopping, and then every single person, bar me and Vic, that would get to Alex would literally chop her in the throat. For like, I can't. Oh, they were so scared of chopping her in the boobs. Yeah. So they would chop her in the throat instead. So she was like,
or do I'm afraid, and just tap her on the chest, and she'd look at him and go, "Will you fucking hit me?" And you're like, yeah.
So I'll never forget it. It came to Vic, and he goes around the whole group. Now, Foxy, you know Vic's chops. You know what they're like.
I think Thatcher knows them more than me.
Yes, but you know what they're like. They're not.
Oh yes.
They're not slight little things. And this was like his very first class. He's going around chopping people like he's fucking Ric Flair. And he gets in, chop, 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 chop. And he just comes to Alex and goes, okay, bang. And he just chops the shit out of her chest. And I'm like, I see this, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to do this. So I did the chop circle. I went around, I came to Alex, and I did chop her properly. Not quite as hard as Vic, but I did chop her properly. And I remember afterwards, she didn't thank me, but she certainly went up to Vic and said, oh my God, thank you so much. Somebody finally fucking chopped me properly. And that's how we went from there. I remember there was one other story maybe the first couple of classes. You remember this? It was you and George in a shoot.
Oh yeah,
in the shoot, and I said, Vic's not losing. It's not losing. He's not a fucking hope. So they were going back and forth, and George gets some sort of ankle lock on Vic, and George thinks, well, that's it. He's just going to tap out. No, he did not tap. He literally. He twisted and twisted until Vic's foot was almost the opposite way round, and he still didn't tap. And George was like, "No, I can't do that. No, I'm not doing any more of that. No way." But that time was great, even though like it was a shitty place. It was under a train track. It was like a little bridge under a train track, and we went through a lot of shit. We had been vandalized by people who lived behind us where we were training. Then we moved to a building that was all but condemned. It wasn't about the building. It was about the people and who turned up and the crack we had. Like there's a fantastic picture of all the trainees that were there at the time, and there's one person active still. If you would call him an active wrestler, that would be Joe Cabray. Everyone else is gone. No, actually, no. Sorry, I tell a lie. There's two. One who you would call maybe active with Joe Cabray, and the other guy you may have heard of him was Sheamus. And he was there, and they're the only two that are actually still active in wrestling now. And you're like, that's a big class and some really, really good talent. Like really good. Like at that point, I had stopped training. I was continuing to go because it was reffing. I'm possibly coming up with this idea of being a manager, but I'd stopped training. There was a training session one day with Sheamus. I'd come back from injuring my knee. He lifted me. He said he wanted to practice doing a stall and suplex. I said, cool, yeah, no problem. picked me up for a stalling suplex, and while I was upside down, I was just like, "Oh shit, I can't do this. I just couldn't. I couldn't. Let me down. Let me down. Let me down." He let me down, and that was it. I never tried again. It was just something in my head just said. It just kind of was flipped, and I was like, "No, I couldn't do it." But we were all there, obviously, to train, but it was more of a family than anything else. We all got on so well; it was fantastic. Not so much the trainer, but I don't want to talk too badly of him because he's not with us anymore.
No, he's not either.
No, he's not. But that was Lee Butler. He wasn't the easiest person to get along with. Let me tell you. But we had our moments with Lee. But it was a great time. We it was the very beginning of Irish wrestling for us. I know it kind of NWA had kind of been going for a while and whatnot, but for us, it was the beginning of Irish wrestling. It was a great time for us.
Like, would that be obviously for you, Vic, it'd be pretty much similar, like, because you and Gerry so intertwined.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I mean, like the only reason I walked into that school the first day is because, as Gerry said, he walked into work and says, "Oh, I found a school," and I went, "Oh, okay," and he went, "Yeah, it's a wrestling school," and I went, "Sure, I'll give that a shot." Yeah, and I went down to the school, whatever it was. The next day, he was going down and walked in with him, and was met by Joe and Vinny, who I was already friends with Vinny for years before that, but I didn't realize Vinny was wrestling. Again, another weird. Who I live right next to at the moment as well, and we're still friends.
Damn.
But me and Vinny knew each other. When I walked in, he looked, and because even Jay said it to me at the time, when Vinny saw me walk in the door, he jumped down out of the ring and went, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And he's like, "How do you know him?" Because obviously my first day there, I don't know anybody except Jared, and I'm walking in the door, and he jumps in. And then Joe's brother, George, I worked with in the same shop.
That
I didn't know this, and he didn't know that either.
Yeah, no. You see, you worked with George, right?
Yeah, but I didn't know he was doing that.
Yeah, you would work with George, but the year previous, I had been in college with George. He was in my stage production course in Ichikoro, and we had been doing that. We did that for a couple of months, but which was even weirder now is that his brother Joe was actually a year ahead of us in the same course, and I'll never forget the very first time I had left college. I was like, no, it wasn't for me. I had left, and the very first time I saw George, I shat myself because the day before I left college, he had handed me his assignment to hand in from, and I never handed it in. I brought it home with me and just said, "Oh, I'll bring that over during the week." My mother found it a couple of years ago. We still have it.
No way.
We still have his assignment from that.
The moral of this is don't trust Jer with anything important. Any kind of paperwork. Do you know what? No. Make sure you follow this so we can transfer the ownership of this car or this house. Don't give it to Jer.
I got married in 2009. 2009. Yeah, well,
any day has done that.
To remember that.
Any day.
And a couple of years later, maybe we were officially married. So I'm actually making sure she doesn't hear that. That's fine.
You'll just see a hand just come out of the screen. Boom.
Oh, no, you won't see it. It'll be so quick. You just see him come out of the screen and just see that.
Oh. But no, we had a great time. You know, it would be for me. I'd love to see a lot of the people from back then. Even just once, you know, a bit of a reunion or something. I'd absolutely love it. I think it would be great.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think as many as we of the old crew that you could get together would be good.
Yeah,
you know,
because I remember when I started, like my initial trainers were the likes of Sean South, Ballymore Bruiser, Seamus was still taking classes as well as Vinny. You would stop by every so often, Vic, just to do a class, and then when that kind of dwindled down, it just became Balance, Bam, and Bruiser.
Yeah.
So like, but I remember during that time it was loved it. I took to moves so easily, but everything else it took me so long to learn. I mean, it took me years to learn how like psychology works and how to actually like call stuff in a ring. But I had talked about this on because I done a recorded episode with Thatcher and Fran, and we talk about my first match. which
Oh yeah,
you
which
remember
I was
that.
in as well.
You remember that all too well.
Yeah,
Me nearly
I had to
dying.
save your life.
Yeah. Well, you didn't try hard enough. That's for sure.
Hey, you're still walking. I did enough.
Well, like getting folded up by Duke Griffin. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a guy who was trying to do like a stalling suplex on Foxy, but instead of telling Foxy it was stalling, he lifted him for a suplex. So Foxy went to go over, and when he went to go over, he tried to hold, and as he's bent, he then came down, and he nearly bent Foxy, and I had to literally grab him out of the fucking ring.
Yeah.
So
Lovely.
Not
Yeah.
nice. Not nice.
Yeah. Oh, literally what happened was I literally walked over, grabbed him and Duke by the scruff of the neck, pulled him into the corner, tagged myself in, went stand there, and just did the rest of the match with
Yeah.
Foxy and the other two lads, and just didn't let him get back in.
Unfortunately, you have to do that sometimes.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was for safety for more than anything else. Like so,
Like Mulligan had the easiest bleeding job ever. He literally tagged in, clothesline, back elbow, tag. You do the shooting star, crotch. Vic picks me up, fucking like key crusher, and then fucking snake bite finish. There you go. It's like that's a great first match.
Oh,
yeah.
No, but like obviously, like I look back on it and it's a good laugh looking at it, like thinking on it. But
Purely because you didn't actually get injured and all, realistically.
Yeah.
So it's fine. But yeah, at the time when I seen it happen, I did kind of shit it on the sideline and go, okay, I need to get him out of there. I need to get Foxy, okay, because I mean, I didn't even know you that long, obviously, really, but that wasn't the point. The point was that, I wasn't going to let you get injured, so I just jumped in. But yeah,
no, but like,
I think that's one of the only matches he had, because I remember.
Yeah, he didn't stay long, but
No.
But even without that, like we've only had, like when I was wrestling, we've only had two
or
maybe
3
3 matches. That's it. Like against each other in the years that we've known each other. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How that works out. But I mean,
that's happened plenty of times though with me, where I've been on shows with people for years and years and years, and never crossed paths with them in the ring. There's still people I've never got in the ring with at all.
Likewise, there's plenty of people that I would have loved to like get in the ring with, and it just never.
Or there's people I've only had one match with, or maybe 2, and I've wanted to have 10, 20 with, because you know yourself, when you get good chemistry with somebody, it's hard to kind of replicate. It's
you
just
can't
natural
deny
chemistry.
You can't deny it. You just want to work with them constantly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's people I've wanted to work with a few times. I've only unfortunately had 1 or 2 matches with. I mean, like you mentioned Thatcher there. I mean, me and him have had 2 matches. That's it.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that's it. And yet the matches we had, like I remember a few times me and him have talked afterwards. We both really enjoyed the matches we had. Like they went really well. But that's it.
Like, I wouldn't have said 2 matches. That's mad.
Yeah,
I would have said 20.
But that's, I mean, you would have thought, like, the amount of times we were in the same group with Irish Group or any other places together, you would have thought we would have crossed paths a number of times. But no,
it just wasn't meant to be, like, kind of thing.
But
like with yourself, Gerry, like obviously, like you said, you had that moment where I was like, I can't do it. I can't wrestle. Like, but you also mentioned that you're transitioned to being a referee or a manager. Now, how did you find that transition? Did you take to it easy, or what did you find hard, like, to do?
For me, all I wanted to do was to be in the ring. So if I couldn't wrestle, then I had to be something else. I had to do something else. So when it came to this, there was a natural transition for me. I was like, if I can't wrestle, then the closest thing I can be is a referee. Because who gets to see the entire show? Referee gets to see the entire show. Yeah, there you go. You're Foxy. Foxy the ref.
Yeah.
Leech.
You should be wearing your stripes. What are you doing?
Yeah, you should be.
I should be, yeah.
Yeah. But for me, it was easy. And I'll never forget, it was my very first day refereeing. And we were in Mount Temple. That's where we were. We did a show in Mount Temple. I did 2 matches. One of them was the Mummy versus Max Martello. The Mummy versus Max Martello. Now I love Max, absolutely love Max, but he'd even tell you this was the drizzling shit.
No, that's 10 steps up from what this was.
Jesus.
But
Again, I like Max.
yeah,
You know, but
he's a great guy. But this was
that was
bad.
not good. That
This was
day
bad.
just didn't go well.
But for
No.
my first time, it was. I was like, oh my god, I love this. This is fantastic. Absolutely loved it. So for me, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I need to do this. I want to do this. If I can't be a wrestler, then this is what I'm going to do. So I was one of 2 refs in the country at the time, I think. And I would do as many IWW shows, IWW shows as I could.
You'd like to.
You know, I did. I did as many as I could. I remember doing a bear garden down where was Simon
that was in
from?
Portlaoise.
Portlaoise, in front of 7 people.
Yeah,
which was great.
That was my first ever show.
That's right.
I ring announced,
yeah,
and you refed.
Yeah, I refed that show, but I refed that, but I've refed in front of 1,500 people. You know, so you know, for me, obviously, you know, it's refing can be difficult, and you'll know that yourself. If you get something wrong, it makes a serious issue in the match, and you're like, oh shit. But I'll never forget. My favorite place was, where did Chicken Run begin?
Lucan.
Right there you go. Lucan.
Yeah, because that was
Lucan's,
my
was it
actual
Lucan
debut,
Sarsfield?
and you refed that.
Yeah, was it Lucan Sarsfield?
Yeah, Lucan Sarsfield.
Lucan Sarsfield. And I went out and I'd had this crazy haircut. Basically, my wife was trained as a hairdresser at the time. She wanted to experiment, and of course, I was the guinea pig. So I had. Do you remember that? It was the V haircut. So it was
yes,
V haircut in the back, but it was almost mulletish. It was that long, and then she dyed it blonde.
But not
so
all
basically, I looked like a rooster. So it was Simon Rochford that came up with the, God, doesn't he look like your man out of Chicken Run? And I'm like, I haven't seen Chicken Run. So it was like, Mel Gibson. I was like, oh, I look like Mel Gibson. I think it was a fucking cartoon. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So I looked like a rooster, apparently. So it was the ring announcer. I can't remember his name, but he announced me to the crowd as Chicken Run. And the name stuck from that point.
The ring announcer was
Dave.
Dave.
Where Dave, that's right. We won't talk about him.
No.
We won't talk. No, God, no, not getting into that conversation. I
can't remember his second name, but it was Dave something.
Yeah, well, his first name isn't Dave anymore. But again, I'm not talking about that now. No way, not happening. He made me. He said, "Do you want to see Chicken Run dance?"
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh shit, what's he gonna?" He just comes in, just dance like a chicken around a ring. So that's literally what I did. I danced like a chicken around a ring. And from then on, the name stuck. And the next time we went to Lucan Sarsfield, I was late getting to the ring for the first match. The music for the 2 guys was, 2 guys. It was Jody Fleisch and,
Johnny Storm.
Thank you. Boom, Johnny Storm. And they were in the ring with the music still playing. I ran out, jumped into the ring, and the music turns off. I call for the bell, and then all you hear from the crowd is Chicken Run, Chicken Run, Chicken Run. And Johnny Storm looks at me and goes, "Who the fuck is Chicken Run?" I haven't a clue. Haven't a clue. Right, let's go, let's tie up there. Now I'm not admitting that to Johnny Storm. No,
those 2 are always together. Like,
yeah, absolutely, yeah. But that was like me and Vic back in the day. We were always the 2 guys that would turn up to the show. Yeah. And the very first Lucan show was his match. Was it now? Remind me, Vic. It was very impromptu. It should have been one match, but it turned into another match.
Yeah. So originally it was supposed to be a tag match. Yeah. And the idea was that they were going to put one experienced guy, or as experienced as you could be at the time, with a debutant on both sides. So the idea was that if something happened, the guy who was on his first match could tag out and the other guy could step in because he'd done a few matches and he could kind of help. And I was like, that's grand. And then on the day, actually about 2 days beforehand, one of the guys pulled out. They said, Graham, we'll do a 2-on-1 because it was actually against Mark Burns. So they were like, oh, he's a big guy. That'll be grand. We'll just put the 2 years against him. And then as we got to the show, we got there and we start planning. And then the other guy goes, I don't feel well. And he just pulled out completely. And they went, all right, cool. Vic, singles match. And I was like, shit. Okay.
Oh no.
Now, in
Yeah.
terms of someone's very first single match, right?
Oh, it was
I
absolute
know
dog shit.
no, but you've beaten yourself up about this a lot. But I ref that match, and I remember looking, going, it wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad. It was okay.
it was because I could bump.
Yes, that's
Because I'd done
you bump
years
like
of judo and stuff like that,
Dolph
and so
Ziggler.
I could bump like mad. So that's all I did. I just bumped like crazy. I don't think I actually hit a move. I think I just bumped.
No, you bumped off him. Like you would try and get a shoulder tackle, you'd bump off him, but you'd make it look good. You bump like hell.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think I did an actual move, which I mean kind of worked for what it needed to be as well, because it was a small guy against a bigger guy, and then obviously it was a first match, so instead of making it too complicated, you don't have to remember a whole lot. Just bump,
Keep it simple.
bump and feed.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
You know, it worked. We hit a finish, went down. Yeah, simple. So I remember it being pretty okay, but yeah, I watched it back afterwards, and obviously wasn't happy with stuff. But who is on their first match really?
We're never
You know.
happy. Like
No, but as you said, like considering it went from a tag match to a singles match in the space of about 3 days, and changed from a handicap match with with two experienced guys and me in the corner where I could hide to no, you're going to be front and center singles match. It was like, oh shit. Because I remember even at the time, I didn't even have gear, and I came up with the name Vic Viper walking up the stairs.
Yeah,
Your head was still blank. If you remember that.
Yeah, I'll never forget though the thought process that went into both our names. That
my thought process was what rhymed with yours.
Yes, yes. And my original ring name, obviously, I haven't always been Gerry Soul or Chicken Run or whatever. My original ring name was Rick Reaper. Yeah, Foxy, I can see your face. I can see your face, Foxy. Yeah,
love Rick the double Reaper. Barrel, don't you?
But that was the serious name. The serious name was Rick Reaper, and the Vic Viper, that's just a joke name. That's not going to stick. That's just for tonight.
Pretty much, yeah.
And Rick Reaper never got used, and Vic Viper did. Like, we took promo pictures of the two of us in long leather jackets.
I'm sure you've seen
black
them.
T-shirts, black jeans.
I have.
Yeah, I shared them a while ago, actually.
They're a sight to behold. That's what they are.
Exactly. Him and his lovely face paint.
Yeah, because I didn't even have a name at that stage. You were Rick, and the idea was, I was like, we're going to come up with a gimmick for me, and I'll pair it alongside. And like that, because he went with Rick, I went, what rhymes or what?
It was Rick and Vic,
and Vic, because the first snake idea we could come up with that would be Viper. So Vic worked with it.
Now, just to point something out, Sean South or Alexander Dean, or whatever name he has nowadays, I don't know, he claims he came up with the Vic Viper gimmick. Not true. Not true. But what I always found funny was we came up with our tag team name before he had his own singles name.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I forgot we even had a tag name.
Yeah, we had the tag name, and our name, was it Death Clock or Death Watch?
Oh, I can't remember.
I think it was Death Clock. And the time,
a shite name.
It was a shite name, yeah. But it was a thing where, like, the bells will toll for you type of thing. We were inspired by Metallica and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, let's go with that. But my name,
because I wanted to come out to a lot of Metallica stuff, and obviously at the time they were my favorite band. And I think with you as well, you were inspired a lot by Undertaker as well.
Yeah,
which obviously was where the idea for
where the Rick Reaper character came from. Obviously, I never used it. I'm kind of glad I didn't.
No, but I mean that was the idea. But I mean, realistically, the amount of people that have said to me over the years, Vic Viper is actually a handy name. It's quick and easy, simple to remember, and anyone can pronounce it. And you're like, it works. You're like, yeah. And you're like, it wasn't meant to be that good. It was meant to be a one-day
one-day jokey name that we were going to use, and then we.
Well, the other side of that is, Simon's thing on names. He had some horrendous names. Both of you guys know this, right?
Yes.
But anyone that doesn't, he came up with some names that people just kind of went, you can't use that. I remember walking up the stairs, and as I was walking upstairs, as the card was still blank, it basically said Mark Burns versus, and it said blank, and it was like, that's you. And I was like, okay, right. And as I was walking upstairs, he went, have you got a name? I went, yeah, we came up with a name, Vic Viper. And he opened a sheet of paper, looked at it, and went, better than anything I have, and put the sheet of paper back in his pocket. To this day, I never asked what was on that, and I really wish I did. 'Cause I want to know what the fuck he came up with.
That would have been interesting.
But the fact that I put forward such a stupid name, and he went, "Yep, better than anything I have." I was like, "What the fuck did you write on that piece of paper?"
I would have loved to have seen that piece of paper. That would be very good.
Well, I mean, like, considering Irish Dragon was originally supposed to be Ted E. Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about the original Irish Dragon or the tactic?
Oh yeah, no, I mean the character. The first
character.
time, was supposed to be originally called Ted E. Bear, and then it was actually Vinny went, "Simon, you're not doing that," and he went, "Okay," and I think he had something like Bling Bling or something. And he's like, "He's not Chinese." You
my
can't do
God!
That. And he went, "You can't fucking do that." And then it was kind of like Irish Dragon, and I was like, "That's okay, we'll go with that. Irish Dragon works." Because I'm pretty sure
Irish Dragon definitely fit better.
I'm going to be working him. I was like, I'm not shouting across the ring to Bling Bling.
Hey, Beeling, get over here, Beeling. Get over here.
Like, I remember the first, like, the day of the first match I had. And obviously, because I'm new and I'm an idiot, I went up to Simon and asked, "Can I use my name, or do you have a name, or what's going on?"
Yeah.
He took a look at what I was wearing. I was wearing like black and white trainers, training shoes, black bottoms, an Irish Whip like t-shirt, and I had really long blonde hair. And he was just like, "Mickey Magpie."
Yeah. That's what I mean. I'd love to know what went through his brain to do that. Like
just instantly, like, Mickey Magpie. I laughed in his face. You serious? Yes, I am serious. Oh, bollocks. So, and the name wouldn't even stick, not even for a month, because it kept changing. So it went from Mickey Magpie to Malachi Magpie to whatever.
Oh yeah, you changed about 10 times. Malachi
God.
Magpie. Yeah, I remember that.
Malachi, and then even the announcer was just like getting in on it. He was coming up with different names as well. So I was like,
that's the thing. I think at one stage it was a case of announce Foxy as whatever, because it doesn't matter. He'll just fucking walk out anyway. Yeah. And next week he'll have a different name, so it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Funny stuff though. Like,
yeah.
When you
and
think
then, well, then you got an actual name, but that was
well, it wasn't much better. Like,
that was under a mask there for a while.
I got chucked under a mask, and it's just like, what name? It's like, we'll announce you at the Connaughton show. Like, Space Cadet. What the hell is that? So just chucked out in the most random gimmick ever.
That was good.
I loved Space Cadet.
I made a go of it.
Oh, no. The original conception. You weren't there for the original Space Cadet.
No, I was there for the DCW.
That was actually like where Foxy had worked on it for a while and actually tried to make something of it. And it wasn't bad at that stage with like the puppet and stuff. But before that, it was literally just the most generic plain mask that didn't match the colour of his gear whatsoever. And just like he said, a ripped Irish Whip t-shirt, and it was just, here's Space Cadet. And I was like, why? I was like, because it is.
Did he go to space camp and dropped out, and now he's here wearing a mask?
No, it wasn't even a space type mask. It was a Mexican mask.
According to Bam, because he apparently talked to Simon about it. It's like, why'd you give him the name? Like, he looks like a goofy little fuck. So
he looks like a goofy.
But then he put you under a mask. So what's the fucking point in that?
Exactly. So that's why he put me under a mask. Is like, he's a goofy little fuck. So
actually, I'm sorry. Actually, if that's the case, I'm surprised Joe hasn't put a ref's mask on you.
Yeah.
I pitched that. I actually pitched that.
Foxy misses the mask. He's like, "Can I have one back?"
You know why? But Vic, you know why he did it? Because he wanted to sell merch. That's why.
That's all he wanted to do. Yeah,
that's why he wanted to do it.
It's all right, Foxy. I feel your pain. Simon took me under a mask for a good long time as well.
Was that a mask or a balaclava?
Well, a balaclava, but it's still a fucking mask, isn't it? Covered your whole face.
Well, obviously, like, all right, like, we're gonna jump ahead like a couple of years because we didn't properly like get to know each other properly until about 2010. Obviously, with the for the abysmally run DCW. So the face is just like,
you
telling
see,
me,
you say
like,
it like that, right? You say it like that, but I had a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it.
And we're not going to talk about how abysmally run it was, because we don't need to give those
no one needs to
airtime.
give that.
What we need to give airtime was the friendships that were made between. That was where I met you properly. That's where I met Thatcher properly. That's where I met I knew Bruiser, but I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, and that's where I got reintroduced to him. Me and Vic finally, after years of doing it, and we had been in IWW. I had left IWW, went to CPW, where the Gerry Soul character was created, and I was like, I had tried back then when IWW was at the height of their power, and CPW was just this small entity, but we were doing okay, not too bad. And I tried to poach Vic from IWW. And I was like, this is like the fucking Monday Night Wars, trying to poach fucking wrestler. But he was like, he was comfortable where he was, so there wasn't going to force the issue. And then obviously he kind of fizzled out kind of from IWW. CPW fucking exploded, completely exploded. So we were kind of both at a loose end. So then when we got this opportunity to go to DCW, and where we were going, you're going to be working together, I was like, oh, that's it, I'm in, 100% in, I'm in for that. And
one of that was we were literally able to do what we wanted, because we went, if we're doing this, we're doing it our way, and we're taking the piss, and we're putting people with us we want, and and like that, we just picked a couple of nights and went, we're going to literally have a laugh. And he went, no problem. And it was like, grand.
Yeah,
we had great crack doing
it. The whole thing about it is that I hadn't really done anything with the Father Soul gimmick. I had done it once or twice in CPW, and then CPW was over. So it was like, well, let's use that. So it was like semi-religious, occulty, then this whole snake thing as well. Like, I'll never forget the very first show we did, Vic walks in with a walking stick, and it's got a cobra's head at the top. I really wish I still had that. And it was fantastic walking stick. I was like, oh yes, I want this for promo pictures. And we finally get to work together. So then we were like, okay, what will we do? So it was like, right, we're creating a faction. He says, right, I know what we're going to do. And he brings in Brother Skelly. And Brother Skelly was just, I'd never met him before. This was my very first time meeting him. And it was just, everybody gelled together so well. Yeah. We had Kev Rocks join us, who had been our main opponent. We had Sister Laura, who was kind of his girlfriend at the time. And it was, it was this group. But I'll never forget how we named the group. Like, the whole thing was, people kept saying it was that promoter who won't get his name won't get mentioned, but that promoter was like, well, it's Gerry's group. And I'm like, and Vic was like, no, it can't be Gerry's group, can't be Gerry's people or whatever. It has to be something else. And it was Vic is like, they were a family. I'm like, yeah, okay. And it's a religious thing, yeah. The family against sinners. That's it. And it was at that point, he said the family against sinners, and someone said, oh, it's Foss.
Yeah. Yeah, because we made that joke straight away. We're putting people on courses to make them part of the family. And he was like, we're putting people on fucking Foss courses. Like, yeah, because we're in the middle of Dublin. Why not? This is going to work. No one else ever picked up on the Foss thing or used it. And you're like, no, what a waste.
Yeah. We should have got like gimmick. T-shirts made and merch made and stuff like that. But we enjoyed it. We really, really did enjoy it. It was unfortunate how it ended for us. But even in the ending, we had a lot of fun.
But we also controlled how we ended it as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Realistically, we didn't wait till DCW exploded. We left.
Yeah.
We picked up our shit and went by.
Yeah. We did a Stone Cold when he didn't want to drop the Brock Lesnar. That was one. But it was, it was never about stuff like that. It was a thing where one of our members was accused of something that he absolutely didn't do, and he absolutely wasn't. And we were like, you know what? Fuck this, we're out of here. Absolutely out of there. And we left. And I remember talking to people that, oh, Gerry, you should see how it's going now. It's absolutely gone tits up. And that was the end of it. But I'll always look back on that really, really fond memories. There was a show we did out near where you are, out near Clondalkin there, Foxy, in one of the hotels. The Green Isle, is that it?
Green Isle, the show that went on for like 48 hours.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, that one.
And I'll never forget Bruiser backstage, and this guy walks in, and we're all just kind of crowded around, and he attempts to arrest Bruiser. I'm like, what the fuck? And everyone just jumps all in a ball on this. It was like, get it back in the pile, lads. Everyone jumps on it, and it's this fucking friend. And I'm like, I've never been in a situation like that. I've never been more like, I don't know whether it was fear or whether it was like, oh, fuck, we're getting in a fight here. I'm going to be arrested. But fuck it, let's all just jump in anyway. And we all just jumped in. And like, that show was crazy. Like, it was like backstage, it was crazy. Out in front of the crowd was crazy. The crowd hadn't a fucking clue what was going on.
No.
I remember it was John Jennings jumped up through the ceiling.
Yeah, he cracked the skull.
Cracked
and
the
had to go
skull.
to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, the show was that long that he was able to go to the hospital, get seen to, and come back, and the show still had a good hour to go.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy how long that was.
Yeah.
But like, there were so many factors for that show. A, it was too long. B, there was also like a traveler wedding going on.
There was next door, yeah.
So every so
I'm
often,
sorry, but they are fucking great crack.
Yeah.
If you've ever gone to one,
well, if you
great
was left the backstage and went into the wedding at one point in our gear.
But I mean, like, obviously you get one or two that are a bit troublesome trying to get in, and it's causing the fuss. But yeah. Like, and also you have people ripping up the Irish flag and draping it over someone. So yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, that didn't go down too well.
No, that didn't
go down too well.
They had to apologize for that.
What was the name of their group actually?
The British Bold.
The British Bold. Yes, I know a certain Dunn that was part of that British Bold.
Yes.
I remember there was a show where they had the England or Great Britain flag or the UK flag, whatever the fuck it is. It's a flag. That flag. And they had, somebody had robbed it in the, not the crowd, but a wrestler had robbed it. And I remember picking it up at the end of the show, and I like put it in the back of the car or whatever, and then I must have taken it out in the house and put it away. And only 2 weeks ago, I was in my attic and I was going through shit in the attic, and I opened the bag. I was like, "Oh fuck, I still have that flag."
So you told you don't give anything to Jer.
No, you really don't give anything to me.
George's assignment,
just goes missing.
People's flags, doesn't matter. He'll just nick it.
It's a memorabilia. There you go.
Actually, I could sell that on eBay. An original Dunn fucking flag. All I need to do is get him to sign it, and it's worth. I don't know
if you can get him to sign it. So,
hey, yeah, we're good friends.
Yeah. No, but like obviously, as you said, like it was fun for the people that were there. Like it allowed. Now I talked about this with Thatcher, the fact that it allowed us the opportunity, allowed people the opportunity to try things that they'd never get a normal chance at. So for the likes of being able to cut promos or coming up with a character that would and trying to make a go of it, like myself. But for others that it gave them somewhere to go to actually try and get better at wrestling. Now, granted, it wasn't like the best thing there, but it was still an opportunity nonetheless for some people.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. Like for me, I had done promos in CPW, but I'd never really let my hair down in terms of the promos. So when we were coming up with it, it was mostly me and Vic saying, right, what will we do? And I remember we would go to various locations and houses and things like that. And there was one, we will say, risky promo that we did. We filmed it over in Sister Laura's house. And it was heavily implied that something had happened in that promo. But I thought the promo went down well, but the thought process behind it was, we were all sitting around doing it. I was like, get to let our hair down, do these promos. And there's some fucking good promos in there that we really did. I remember
that never made it out.
Exactly.
Shown. Like there's a bunch of them that were recorded.
There was a big one that we did. We had recorded it in Dublin City FM. And it was all of us. We were all together in Dublin City FM. And it was a fantastic promo. I don't think it ever got used, though. It was
it didn't. Because the only thing they used from that was at the time when they were doing their Rumble thing. And that's when I had the idea of doing the we go up and we take the numbers off you, like we're receiving communion.
Yeah.
Because Father's all, it was like, let's use Father. So we found the ball in the middle of this radio station. We put 4 pieces of paper in it and we all queued up and went up, and he was like, "Father, I'm like, thanks, Father."
Yeah.
But again, it was something where it was just funny to us, and we were taking the piss, and we thought this would be a good laugh. But also, it was a unique way of doing something that everybody else was just doing. I got a number. Okay.
Yeah, I got 3 or I got 7.
How many times can you watch that before you think it's the same promo?
It was playing
times
into
in a
the
row?
character. It was playing into the
but this
characters
is the
that you're
thing.
portraying.
But that's what he was saying. We got to let our hair down a bit more, and like we used to get together. Obviously, we were friends anyways, so I mean, we'd be together. But we got to get together and go, okay, let's have an idea of, or we'd see something and go, we should shoot one there, or we should do, or let's get, or like, you know what, that church looked really creepy at night. Let's go shoot one in front of it. Like we did a few in front of a church. They never got shown either.
No.
Yeah.
Because there was one that you found. I don't know where that church was, but it had these like lights on the ground that shot up the church. So when you stood in front of it, it cast this big shadow up the church, and like with the big priest robes, it looked great. And you're like, this looks brilliant.
I don't know the name of the church, but it's Saint Columba's National School in the North Strand. It was directly across the road from where the DCW training place had been. A very short-lived place.
Yes.
It was directly across that. It's where I went to school, but it was, of course, just around the corner from the original IWW place as well. So a lot of history in that one place. But we would go on nights out, Foxy, and we'd be having a good time and enjoying ourselves. And then someone would say, "Right, what do you think of this?" And we talk about promos. Then I'm like, "Geez, that's a great idea. Let's do that." Or, actually, no, take that little bit out, put this little bit in. Oh yeah, and it would. We loved it, absolutely loved it.
Now, some of them were impromptu, where like we've been sat around having a drink, and they'd be like, "Let's do this," and all of a sudden, two of us would whip a shirt off and go, "Make it look, shoot from the top half, so you can't tell we're not wearing wrestling gear," and you just wander out. But you'd be in the middle of someone's house, and someone had an idea. You're like, "Oh fuck it.
Just take the top off." That was that. Like there was 2 promos I'll never ever forget, and it pains me now that I don't have them. That. You know, they were shown maybe on one of their DVDs or whatever it was, but it's you know, the promoter probably still has it or burned it, whatever it was. But there was 2 promos that we did. There was one was recorded in Vic's house. We, myself and the rest of the family got in my car, we drove out to Vic's house and shot the promo. And it was a promo, it was a couple of, I think we did 2 or 3 promos. And one was, you know, we were going with the tag titles and Vic was the champion and whatnot. And I was like, I'm going to the Vatican. The Pope is bestowing a special honor just for me. I won't be at DCW Mania, but Vic will be there. He's going to defend the title. We're going to have the tag titles. We're going to have it all. And when I come back, we're going to have all the gold. And of course, things didn't go according to plan properly at DCW Mania. So the promo that I shot, we had to go over to the promoter's friend's apartment, and he's even worse than the promoter, but I won't get into that now. Yeah, we won't talk about that now. But I think that night I recorded my single best promo that no one has ever seen, and no one will ever see because I don't have it. And it was basically, I used to always love, the DCW cameraman, the DCW cameraman coming to see me. I would always say, how did you get into my house? Or how did you find this DCW cameraman? But it was, I had got back from the Vatican. We had lost fucking everything. And I was pissed. And I don't mean angry. I mean, I was locked. I was like, it's a fucking DCW cameraman. I
lost everything.
Believe I lost it all. I fucking lost it all. But it was, once it was finished, it was like, people, if you know me in wrestling, you know, like one take Jerry. I like doing one take. And one take only. And this was a one take.
Most of the time.
Fuck off.
I broke that.
Fuck off. But one take, yes, you did. And it was actually the creation of Foss.
We were in the middle of a promo, and I didn't tell them the name. And I went, I have a name, don't worry about it. And whilst we were doing it, we were in the middle of this promo. He cuts this, and in fairness, great promo, we're going through. And he went, and we're going to turn to Vic now. And Vic's going to tell you what's going to happen. I was like, well, welcome to my group. The Family Against Sinners, and he just turns a fucking fuck. He's broke. And he pissed himself laughing, and I was like, I fucking broke him.
I had never been broken before in terms of promo, never been broken before in terms of promo. But this was the drunken promo I did for
the drunken was great. I'm pretty sure in that drunken, when you talk about Gaddafi and all at one point as well, because you're out of your head. I'm like, why the fuck did that come from? He's like, don't know, Gaddafi was in the news earlier.
Gaddafi was in the news.
It was topical, so I need to use it.
Man, it was brilliant.
It was brilliant.
I had to be heelish. But I did it, and I remember just everyone was like, there was about 10 people there watching me do this, and I was falling around, I was slipping, I was slurring, I had a whiskey in my hand, I was going all over the place, and I was like fucking Daisy W cameraman, and then I kind of like, bro, I got like that, and then cut, and just uproar after that, everyone pissing themselves laughing the whole fucking lot, and I wish I had that promo now. I would do
that was a good
anything.
one.
I would do anything for that promo right now. Well, apart from talk to the promoter because he's a cunt. But that was my single best promo that no one will ever see. And I loved it. Like I remember, like Vic was there, like the family were there, Danny Deans was there. I think probably Tasha was probably there as well. Loads of us there, and it was my best promo ever. And it's just unfortunate no one will ever see it.
And the funny thing, like with the like, obviously I was there for DCW and I was there for the Family Against Sinners, so I got to see your work as a like on the promos. Absolutely fell in love with like the Father Soul character because I thought it was just you had a great knack for taking things that was topical but also throwing in some obscure references as well, just to pop the boys in the process, which is brilliant. But for me personally, I think your best work as Father Soul is when you're in front of an over 18s crowd.
Yes.
Because
it
it was like the shackles are off. I'm not catering to a kid's show where I have to tone down. I can go off the wall with this.
Yeah.
And just led to some hilarious like back and forths with fans.
There was a few over 18 show that I did as Father Soul. The very first one was when MSW did Fibbers. And it was about 6 months before that I had said, no, I was finished with wrestling. I was done. I wasn't doing any more. I couldn't have cared less at that point. But then I got a call and I was like, fuck it, go on, I'll do it. So I went in and I told no one. I was like, no, not telling anyone. And I turned up on the day and some of the boys are there and like, fuck you doing here? I'm like, I'm on the show. What do you mean you're on the show? You don't do wrestling anymore. Like, no, I'm on the show. You'll see. And we did this whole thing where Kaza was literally starting out. Martina, I should say, was starting out. She was in the ring and she was pretending to give out vodka shots. Now there was water in that bottle. There was no way they were giving out free vodka. No. There was water in that bottle. And I came out and I spilled it all out. And of course, Lycan then comes out. So what do you think you're doing? And then my boy Omen, that's it. It's fucking Jesus Christ, I can't remember his name. Omen comes out and beats the shit out of him. But some of the best promo shots, or not, like live action shots of me and Omen together were on that show. John Morrissey was there, and he's such a good photographer, such an amazing photographer for the live action stuff. Anything he does is amazing. But he got some great live action stuff of me and Omen that night. And I was like, I got the bug then. I was like, I'm kind of liking this over 18's Father Soul thing. Let's keep this going. Let's see where we go with this. I remember I did one of the poetry slams, and that was over 18s as well because it was drinking all involved and whatnot. And I remember coming out, and that night, that was Carnage. That night, that was a great show, but absolute carnage. I remember it was Justin Shape and Danny beating the Jesus out of each other up that night. But somebody said to me, there's a kid watching from one of the emergency exits. It was all glass. I'm watching the emergency exit. I was like, right, am I going to go there as the priest? Am I going to go there and say something? So during the show, I went out and I'm looking around, and it was the same type of deal that somebody was drinking, and I took the drink off them and fucked it away. And while I was standing in the ring, I saw the boy, and I'm like, "Ooh, a boy! Come here! And the crowd are like, "Oh!" I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "Right, good reaction. Let's leave it there. Let's not do anymore. Let's not say anymore." But the best part about being the priest in front of an over 18s crowd is that you get to look. And I love using this one line, and I think I've done it maybe 4 or 5 times. Somebody will call me a different name. Someone will say Gerry Soul. I'm like, you refer to me by my proper title, you little bollocks. Direct Father Ted quote. And it always gets a little kick. And I actually can't remember. I did FTW as well, Full Trot Wrestling, which is fucking mental.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember, was I Father Soul then?
Yes.
I think I was, because I did that then. Just you look at a minute ago I said my single best promo that no one will ever see, and then the night I hope no one ever sees, and it's when that lovely man Be Cool dressed as a woman, and he gave me what was the thing Rikishi used to do in the corner, the stink face.
Stink face.
Yeah.
And I genuinely do not think he wiped his arse for about a week. And he gave me the stink face. No, I mean, you talk about brown nosing someone. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
My face was fucking covered, I'd imagine, in shit. I went ran up to the toilet. I felt like I was nearly getting sick. And I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck did he do to me? And I washed my face. Wasn't, no, come get the smell. No. And I saw cleaning supplies. I'm like, it's only a bit of bleach. It's fine. And I didn't. I was like, no, you can't. So I just kept washing. But that was like, the Father Stole stuff, it was, for me, it was so easy. Because as soon as you walked out as a priest, you're instantly hated. Instantly called a pedo. And like, I'm going to use this. This is perfect. It was too easy to do. I could go out in front of any crowd, over 18's crowd, and do it. Back in the DCW days, it was a lot more difficult to do the Father Saul gimmick because you're in front of kids, and you're like, you cannot in any way do anything risky here. You have to go somewhere in different directions. That's where
Can't even insinuate it.
Yeah, that's where Vic came up with the whole cult thing. Let's do a cult thing, almost like the Ministry of Darkness, but like better.
You know, that it worked because kids, you couldn't do over 18 stuff. You know, so well, there was no point in having a character like Father Soul and having Jer, who's so good at doing promos, and not having him be used properly. So I was like, no, fuck this. Like, we'll do it properly, and we'll do what we can. So, you know, like as you said, it started as a bit of a kind of a joke and a bit of a we'll just do what we want. But realistically, we did do what we wanted, and we had fun doing it.
You know, it wasn't in the sense that let's put ourselves over here and we're going to win every match.
No, that was
we're
the
not
thing.
Hulk Hogan.
Like,
It was a we're going to do what we want to make this product be better. You know,
but we also did it in a way of, as long as we're enjoying what we're doing and having a laugh, and like because we were a group of such close friends as well, that well, as we said, we used to go on nights out as the family all the time.
Yeah,
on out for a few drinks, out for doing whatever, like just because.
Where you seen one, you seen the rest of them.
Pretty much, yeah.
It basically lived up to the gimmick at the time.
But I mean, the gimmick works because we were all such close friends. We could bounce off each other in the same way, because it was a case of we saw each other once a month or whatever, and just then you're trying to create a non-realistic connection. It's a bunch of friends who are sitting there taking the piss and bouncing off each other, and it's so much easier. So it just became real simple. So, well, and they were good times. Like, I mean, as I said, for us, they were good times and good stuff we got to do. You know, it's just a pity. I mean, I know me and Jer got to work together once or twice after that with the Father Soul thing as well, where like that I tagged with Omen even, and we did that as well.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. It was very impromptu. It was one of the Mo Theatre shows, and Joe came to me and said, "Listen, I'm going to create a new tag team. I want you to be the manager." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'm happy to do it." And he says, "I'm going to tag with Vic." I'm like, "Oh, fuck, great! You get to work with Vic again." Little did I know it was a one bleeding show deal. Jesus. Yeah, but it was like we went in. They won the tag belts, and the next day he was like, "Oh yeah, no, I can't do any more shows." And that was that. So then Omen had to work with Damien Corbin instead as tag champ. But like even that show, we had a hell of a lot of fun in the show. Every show we've done, we had fun at. There was never a show that was like, Jesus, that was shite, wasn't it? No, we always had fun. Always had fun. There was never a night that we didn't. It's just a shame that we don't really do it anymore. You know, it's like obviously I had a lot of fun doing that. I had a lot of fun doing DCW and CPW, IWW, and then later on doing the stuff I did with OTT. You know, I'd love to still be doing it. You know, even without a bloody pandemic, I'd love to still be doing it. But it's been fun. Absolutely, a lot of fun.
It's unfortunate that you've kind of been killed off, so to speak, for OTT, because like it'd be so much fun to have you back.
Well, all I'll say is this, right? Okay, I was only in purgatory. Okay, if Logan Bryce can come back from fucking hell, I can come back from purgatory. Okay. Now it was actually, it's funny you actually talking about that because last week, I was just chatting with people on Twitter and somebody mentioned, "Oh, I remember the show where I was in the ring with Tony Kelly," and I was like, "I'm glad you remember. I don't fucking remember that." And we were talking, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, that show. Okay, that's okay." So we were chatting away, and I was like, "Oh, I miss doing the promos, and I miss doing this and that," because I constantly get memories of me doing a promo. It was always a promo that would be shot up in Joe's apartment, and we'd shoot it there, and like even then we'd have great crack doing it. But then somebody said, "Oh, that I liked your promo, I like this," and I was like, "You know what? Fuck it. If OTT gave me permission, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go full Jerry Humperdinck, and I'm gonna record a promo." And all of a sudden, I get the like from OTT, and I was like, "Well, that's confirmation. That's confirmation. I have to do it now. I have to do it now." So yeah, expect a Jerry Humperdinck OTT promo, unofficial OTT promo soon. And by soon, I mean 2023.
But look, obviously, like today, we know each other through wrestling, but we also we've grown to know that we're all fucking big nerds, very big nerds. I mean, like Jerry yourself, don't lie.
What am I talking about? Never read a comic book in my life, mate. Sorry on this.
He's not a nerd.
You and your freakish Wolverine healing factor.
Don't bring that up because you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
he's about it for the fucking night.
He's turned into Logan, where he's like, very good.
Foxy, you're not allowed to promote your own podcast on a different podcast.
Pub City there for like for Jerry's own show.
Good
like,
timing.
It's
timing.
just a pity it's backwards. Whatever.
Like for people that can't see it, Jerry has put up a custom background of his own show on the Loblos network. Talk nerdy to me.
Where I'm also featured quite a number of episodes.
Featured quite a bit. The only unfortunate thing was, like, you would think during a pandemic that you'd say to yourself, right, I can get a lot of content done. Haven't done one since February. I think February or early March. I did one early March to promote DCC because I went in to talk to Dublin City Comics, and we were going to be having DCC 2 weeks later. I was going to have a panel with Gary O'Toole from Blab at the Hut podcast. We were going to be doing a panel, so I was shitting myself at that. And unfortunately, this happened, and DCD didn't go ahead. But you would think that in all that time, we've been out of work now for 12 weeks, you'd think I'd get off my arse and do a podcast.
No.
So what have you been doing, Vic? Like I've talked with the guys from Low Blows, and like, there's no pressure, but if you want to, I've ideas. Yeah, I'm actually going to do this. No idea. That. And I had a Eurovision one, but because my wife's mad about Eurovision, and yeah, I just, when this started, right, I wanted to study for an exam that I wanted to do the DDP yoga because I got DDP yoga. I'm a big fan of Warhammer and Games Workshop and stuff like that. Like literally, I'm sitting at my desk now. I'd say close to maybe 250 individual figures that have to be painted. I said I'm going to start them. I've done nothing.
I was going to say last time I was there, which was about 4 months ago, there was about 250 figures.
Oh, there's more. Then if that's the case, then there's more. Like I still.
The last time I was there, I think you'd painted 2 or 3, and you were talking with Paul, and you went, "Oh no, I'm gonna do the whole lot." And you went, "But here's 1 or 2 testers. This is how they're all gonna look." And I went, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, I've done 10.
That's the last. Yeah, lazy bastard.
Yeah, I've done 10.
Yeah.
I did 10. I did 10. I think the second week of lockdown, and I haven't done a fucking thing since. Literally nothing. I was going to do yoga. I was going to do studying. I was going to do the dating. I was going to maybe record 4 or 5 podcasts. Have not done a thing. And the only reason I have done a thing is that I'm simply a lazy fat bastard. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I could make excuses. I could get on to Rick in Low Blows and say, "Listen, I've been very busy with this. No, I've been sitting in the jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Just
That's it.
enjoying life.
Just go to hot tub.
Loving
I
it.
couldn't give a shit.
He's too drunk to
I'm
get out of the hot
enjoying.
tub.
I am enjoying
so
my life. I'm enjoying not working. I'm enjoying
Just superimpose
sitting
like
around.
a glass of brandy in his hand there, and just like,
You don't need to
yeah.
superimpose. Go to
no,
Facebook, you'll find 400 pictures of it in the hot tub.
Come here. There's a picture of me in the hot tub, and there's a sensor over my chest saying, and then there's a little bubble saying, if you want to see more, sign up to my OnlyFans.
My OnlyFans.
You know,
It's brilliant.
hey, I've got to, have a roof over my head. I have to pay for it. I have to pay for food for my kids. So yeah, might as well get me tits out.
I wouldn't even blow past you if you actually did it, even as a rib. Oh
What do you mean, if we did it? Do you want the link, or?
no!
Yeah, £3 a month. He's doing it real cheap. Real cheap at the moment.
Oh,
A cheap asshole.
I'm a cheap asshole, but I tell you, cheap asshole.
No, but
See, yeah, come here. You saw Leo Varadkar up in the Phoenix Park there the other day. You didn't see when I left. That's all I'm saying.
I'm so like, yeah, going back to being like nerdy and all that malarkey. trying to. But obviously, you're big into your Star Wars, your Trek. You're a big Trekkie. That you just became, I want to say, certified now to cosplay.
It was officially last week.
Yeah.
I was cleared for the official 501st Legion. So that's like they've tied in with Disney, so I'm officially certified with them. I have officially cleared my Emperor Palpatine for a Revenge of the Sith costume. I did go in for clearance for both Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi, but I didn't pass one of them, but I passed the other one. So I'm very happy with that. So, if there's ever a Star Wars premiere that Disney are doing in Ireland, you may see me on the red carpet, something like that. So you never know.
And for anyone that doesn't know, obviously, like, not only have you done Emperor Palpatine, I've seen you do Count Dooku. I've seen you do was it John Hammond from Jurassic Park?
Yeah, that was officially cleared as well by there's another group called the Real Icons, and that was officially cleared 2 weeks ago as well.
Ah, very nice, very nice. And
John Hammond's always good.
Yeah.
He did a Stormtrooper as well. That was one of the first ones he did.
The very first one I did was a Stormtrooper.
Which
it hasn't really seen the light of day because when I got it, it had already been modified for somebody else. So then I had to remodify it for me, and it didn't work properly. I can wear it for very, very short periods. I actually wore it. Was my very first appearance. Official appearance at an OTT show. I wasn't there to sell pizzas. I was there to actually be something. And I dressed up as the Stormtrooper and walked through the crowd. It was the Outer Space Odyssey show, the very first one. And I dressed as a Stormtrooper and walked through the crowd. And that was it. That was a bit of fun. So I've done that. I've done an Imperial Officer. I've done Count Dooku. I've done the Emperor. I've done John Hammond. And I've done George Lucas as well.
George Lucas was good.
Yeah.
The George Lucas one, though, that was like a spur of the moment. Let's have a bit of fun with this. It was one of the big invasion shows that we had in the RDS, and somebody said, "Oh, do your George," because I dressed for him at a different con, just as a laugh. And said, "Oh, dress as George and see how we get on." But then one of the guys there, Jules, he's really big guy, and he does these fantastic costumes. He does, the Batman one that broke all the records. It was in Guinness Book of World Records for the amount of gadgets for the best Batman costume in the world. That's Jules, and he does Darth Vader, and he does Darth Malgus. He does Tarful, which is Chewbacca's father. So he does all these fantastic costumes. And he said, "Oh, Gerry, no, if you're going to do it, let's do it." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I'm going to be your personal security. We're going to get everyone in black t-shirts. We're going to surround you like you're actually George Lucas, and we're going to walk into the convention." I'm like, "Okay, let's see how this goes." So he got like a walkie-talkie, and he says, "Yeah, George is coming in the door now. Have the chopper ready in the stadium in 6 minutes." So we go in, and he's bringing us, and he's introducing me to all the people who own the stalls and all the cosplayers. I get pictures taken, and everyone's like, "Fucking George Lucas, what the fuck?
What's he doing here?
What's he doing here?" And somebody got, "Oh, how are you, George? Heard you came in for the day." He was like, yeah, I just came in for the day, yeah. And like, worst American accent ever. But I was like, let's have a bit of fun with this. But I remember from start to finish, when I came out, I got out of a car and they walked me and all the security around me. It was this Japanese photographer, and he followed me throughout the entire convention. Pictures, pictures, pictures. He thought I was the real George Lucas. So we went around and I met some of the actors that they used to have at the conventions, and some of the, like Will Slinney was there, and the guy, I can't remember half their names to be honest with you, but a load of the actual actors from the movies were there. So they wanted photos taken with me. So there's me shaking their hands, photos. I got a picture taken with Vader and the Emperor at the throne. All the sets that were there taken. And then they brought me out through the back door. So I was like, I waved to everybody. I was like, bye, bye. I'm like, everyone's going, oh my God, I can't believe I George Lucas. And I went outside and everyone just collapsed laughing. Got like, oh my God, we got away with it. But little did we know the poor Japanese photographer had followed us. And he's like, fuck. And he's just like,
You realised.
fuck. And you could almost see he's just like, just wanted to throw the camera in the bin, and he stormed out. He was gone. I was like, oops, sorry. But I was like, that was great, Craig. That was brilliant. So even something as simple as that, it got over really well. I love doing the costumes. Like my very first convention that I ever went to was DCC, and Vic came with me. And I still have those photos. I dressed as George that day, and we met a guy who looked like Walter White.
He looked really like Walter White, and arrived in a camper van.
Yeah, he was the
spitting.
Like talk about going the full. He ride in the camper van. Brilliant.
He was the spitting image of it. I think that was the very first DCC, or I think it was the first one or the second. Probably the first one, because
no, that was the second one.
Was the second one?
That was the second DCC.
It was okay, and it was Ironhide was there. That's what it was. The Ironhide was there.
Yeah, fully working Ironhide.
The fully working Ironhide was there, and Vic was like, "Oh my God, let's have a look at this." And like we tend to try and go to these things together because we are big nerds. We love doing them. Like I remember there was there was a wrestling ring there. Who was it that was there? Who was I know Phil.
Was it Five Factory?
Five Factory, that's it. Five Factory were there. Phil Boyd was there. I remember Alexander Dean was there. And they would do like 1 or 2 matches and then take a break. 1 or 2 matches, take a break. Very similar to the way MSW did it with the other crowd as well. But they're so much fun. You go to. I didn't know what to expect going into this convention. I was like, the hell, never been to one. You'd seen images of San Diego and New York and places like that. I was like, it's probably not going to be like that over here. It is exactly like that over here, just a much smaller scale back then. Back then, it was the National Show Centre at Swords, and I had a fantastic time. I was like, this is absolutely brilliant. And through that, I got to meet some of the organisers. I got to meet Carl, who was one of the main guys. Got to meet some of the amazing cosplayers. Stephen was one of them. He does fucking millions of costumes. I got to meet a guy who did the best Captain Jack Sparrow I'd ever seen. Just absolutely brilliant. And now, all these years later, I can say they're actually my friends now. I actually know them personally. I know them really well. We got on really well. I get to go to these conventions. I get to be part of it now. I'm not just a punter anymore. I get to be part of these conventions, whether it's cosplaying with a particular group, or whether I'm helping out, or whether I was supposed to be doing a panel on the one in March. Maybe in the future might get it going again, but there's something for everyone now at these conventions, especially at the new convention center in town. The 5 floors, it's just absolutely action packed, and so much stuff in it.
Because even like the last time we were there, they added all the VR section on as well. Like they added the whole gaming section, which is a whole new thing they'd never done before. Because I remember talking to like Doc and all that as well, obviously from like DCC, and yapping about that. I think at the time Doc was running the zombie run at the back as well, because it was summer on that one. So they were doing they set up a whole like maze at the back, and they had guys dressed as zombies basically chasing people around this hay maze and all, and just a bit of crack. Like
that was great. Like I love that type of stuff. Yeah, absolutely love it. That like Doc and Jason from Z Comics. They're an integral part of it now. And if you don't see them there, you're like, why aren't they here? What's
But if
going
you
on?
don't see them there, one of them's probably under a mask or doing something or dressed
Exactly.
up, or they're there. You might just not see them, because I remember even saying to you, Jesus, I thought Doc was here. And you're like, yeah. And then you go out and you find these dressed as a zombie, carrying a chainsaw, walking around the maze. And you're like, there he is.
There he is.
At least he's still involved. And,
You're like, I knew he had to be here.
like, it's crazy how like the convention scene has kind of changed from like say 2006, 2000 or from thereabouts to now. Like in terms of what's there at a convention, you don't just have your comic creators, you don't just have your vendors. You have, like you said, the VR. You have the interactive corner, as it were. So you have like the zombie walk or different things that are now available that weren't back in the day.
Oh yeah, I mean the first one or two we went to, I'm sure. Like I don't know if you went to any of the early ones, Foxy, but Gerry will tell you there was no Q&A or anything like that. But then we went to probably, what was the third, fourth one, where Kevin Conroy was at it.
Oh yeah.
And we got to a Q&A with Batman, and you're like, this is the best day ever.
Yeah. I went to the one, his second time round. He came with John Wesley Shipp.
Oh yeah.
I went to that one and got a drawing signed by both of them. So I have that hanging in my office. It's deadly. But
I've picked up a couple of bits as well at Comic-Con. Like I know, not even just at that one. I brought Dark Knight with me to one of them, and I got Frank Miller to sign it as well. I have two copies of Dark Knight, one signed by Frank, which is now sealed in plastic to make sure it stays, and then the other one that I read.
Yeah, like the first convention that I ever went to, it was only a small one. I think it was out in Swords, and this was around 2008, I want to say. But they had Jim Lee, and it was crazy. Like at the time, I wasn't really sure. I just knew he was a big part of like Batman, at the time, and I know he still is. But Jesus, I was like, I need to get something. I have fuck all money, but I need to get something signed by him, or at least a photograph with him. And I have that as well. I still have that. You just see me with long hair, just like, goofy face on me.
There was the very first one I went to, the very first DCC I went to. I can't remember the actor's name, but he played a small part in the very first Star Wars movie. And one of my friends who was part of the Emma Garrison said to me, Gerry, are you going? And I was like, yeah, I'm heading up. He said, could you do me a favor? Could you take this frame and get him to sign it? He said, just tell him it's a small signature anywhere that he wants on it, anywhere he can fit his name. I was like, okay, that's fine. I was never a big person for, I love going up, I love meeting them, but asking for pictures or autographs or photos, I couldn't be arsed, really. I like seeing them, I like meeting them, shaking a hand, and that's it. So I went up and I was talking to him. I said, listen, I have a friend of mine wants you to sign this. I hadn't even opened the package. I hadn't a clue what it was, but it was fairly big. It was maybe 3 feet long, maybe a foot wide. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It was a massive poster, but it had cells from each of the movies. So it was a little cell, little cell, little cell. And he had already gotten about 20 or so signatures from various actors throughout the years. I'm like, wow, I want this. I'd never wanted anything like that before, but I want this. And he was like, this is really cool. So he signed it. And I was like, this is amazing. And since then, that was the very first DCC. So it's obviously years later. He's gotten so many more. And I think he was very lucky the fact that he was able to get Carrie Fisher to sign it before she died. So there's so many of these, but you have so many people that are like that like to do collections like that. You know, like Vic did. He went in and he had to get.
That's the only signature I have, because it's Frank Miller is such a big one. I really just wanted that, because like that, I wasn't sure if there's ever going to be a chance to meet him again or do that. So I was like, fuck, I need to get something. But like Jay, I mean, I think that's the only signature I have, really. Other than that, I'm not really too bothered. I'd rather meet the person and kind of have a quick chat and be like, okay, done, thanks.
Yeah.
But
like working at DCD and being there, it's been great for me, because I've got to meet, just casually, like shake their hands, and pleasure to meet you type thing, blah blah blah. But I'll never forget, I was dressed as the Emperor at one of the conventions. You were there that day. You weren't with me at the time, Vic, but you were there that day, and I was walking along, and this was the time that they had the Mountain from Game of Thrones there. Now this guy is not small; he's fucking huge. But what I don't get is he's there, but he has a bodyguard that's about 3 feet shorter than him. Don't get it.
Yeah, well, obviously, he's not going to be the same size as him.
I'd imagine the bodyguard's there just to protect his dick because he's about dick size, big fucking height anyway. Probably the same size as his dick as well. But he was standing over at the camera booth where they all go in to get the pictures taken with everybody. And I was dressed as the Emperor, and he just turns around and he just stares daggers at me. He was like, "Oh, I gotta have a bit of fun with the mountain." So I remember I just kind of casually walked over to him, and he turns around and he gets the real like stance, but he's still staring at me. And I walk straight up to him. Of course, I'm looking up at him, and then I just did it real quick. Not that I wasn't punching him or anything, but I just kind of put the fist out real quick for a fist bump, and I left it there. And he was just like, he smiled, fist bumped me. I was like, "That's cool. I really fucking like that." I was like, "I just got a fist bump off the fucking mountain. This is cool." And then, like, Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Michael Rooker.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I got to meet him as well, and he was just his
Q&A was there, wasn't it?
It was a couple of years ago now.
Yeah, I think it was 2-3 years ago.
His Q&A was off the walls. He was slated for an hour. He got to do an hour. He was like, "We're not doing an hour. Give me that mic." And he went around to every single person in the audience and asked them, "What question would you like to ask?" So he's standing in front of people with the microphone. "What question would you like to ask?" He went around everybody. He could have been there for hours, and he was just absolutely mental. I remember we're sitting at a hotel where he's staying, and we could see that he'd just been out for having something to eat, and he was coming back from the restaurant. So we called her out, "Oh, come on, Mom, like, just sit down, have a drink." He said, No. I'm in contract not to drink. Doesn't say I can't eat, though. And straight in, and you could see under his arm, Eddie Rockets under his arm, going up into the escalator. So the guys that they get for DCC have been amazing. There's one or two that have not been nice people. And I'm not going to name them because I'll probably get into trouble.
Yeah, well,
but they've been big stars. And there's one in particular that's been an absolute dick. I'll tell you off air, Foxy. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But, people, the likes of me and Vic, and even yourself, we go to these conventions because some people want to go in and buy some merch or see what, the virtual reality stuff, or see the sets, or meet the cosplayers, or cosplay themselves, or even go and meet celebrities from various things. They've had Spider-Man there, they've had Batman there, they've had Supermans there, they've had Power Rangers there, they've had all these guys there. And that's not what you want. You want to go there and enjoy yourself. You don't want somebody to ruin your experience just because they're a dick. If you're going to be a dick, don't bother go to conventions, But no, overall, the convention circuit is fantastic. You go to a lot of conventions, folks. You sell stuff at conventions, so you know what it's like.
Like I haven't been lucky enough to do any of the big conventions in regards to selling stuff, which I just never, like, I don't have the confidence to do it. I think that would be the way I'd see it. But I enjoy going to them. I enjoy going there and seeing, because I'm friends with a lot of people there, whether it be sellers or otherwise. So it's fun to go there and just enjoy myself. I don't do it as often as I'd like to, but when I do it because there's probably something there that I have to be there for. A couple of years ago, we had Jason David Frank, who, for anyone who's a big nerd, is like the white
green Power Ranger,
the original green and white Power Ranger. So like that's now I had gone to a convention a couple of years back where in London Film and Comic Con, and he was a guest there as well as 4 of the other Rangers. So during that time, I managed to get signatures from all of them, but never got a chance to get a photo with Jason David until he came to Ireland. I was like, I'm paying for this. I need to do this, and I'm so happy because I'm not big on signatures, but I just want the photo. Like I'd like to say that look back on it and say, like, I got to meet this guy or I got to meet this person and they were lovely. So it kind of encapsulates my enjoyment of a convention by getting these good interactions with people.
In terms of, I'm a big Star Trek fan, so when it comes to DCC, they tend to get one nearly every year. So they've gotten nearly the entire cast of the Next Generation now at this point. Now I've got nearly. There's a couple left, but I've got to meet them. I've got to shake their hand and whatnot. But I was like, I don't, I didn't want to get like a photo with them, but my parents did. So they've gone to every convention because they bring my son to every convention because he loves going. But then I was like, they get to meet a Star Trek actor because they fucking crazy with Star Trek actors. But I got a chance last year to go to Destination Star Trek in Birmingham last year, and I saw that there was a person going to be there. I was like, oh, I can't wait to meet this guy because he's amazing. And then I saw that he was doing a photo shoot, but he was doing a photo shoot in his original makeup, and I'm like, oh no, I have to do that. Oh, I have to do that. It was one of the Klingons. It was General Martok from Deep Space Nine, and he's in full Klingon gear, the full headdress, the makeup, the gear, everything, and he was on a Klingon throne with a pet targ at his feet. I was like, I've got to do this.
Oh, you have to.
So I went up and I queued. It was about an hour queue, and I'd prepaid for the photo. I went in, and he was there, and he was an absolute gentleman. He's mental. Now he's mental, absolutely. He was like, now, right, I want you to go and get me 100 Big Macs and 200 whirly burgers. And I was like, what the hell's a whirly burger? You don't have them here? I was like, no. Oh, you're missing out. Cheese. All right, bye. I was like, what the fuck? But then I was like, right, they have this lovely big frames, and it was something that DCC were looking into, is that if you get your picture taken, you buy one of these frames, you can put your picture in it, but then there's a space for you to get the signature off them as well. I was like, right, I need to do this. So I bought the frame. The frame was like a $5, and I went over to a stand, and I stood talking to him about 15 minutes, and we were just chatting away. I chatted to him about the burgers, the situation from the day before, and I was like, listen, I said, you need to come to Ireland. I said, you need to contact the DCC and get you into Ireland. And he was like, listen, I've already been talking to people. You know, you might see me there soon. I was like, oh, please, this guy he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But he brings the costume himself. That's what some of these actors are like. They bring the costume themselves, and they do themselves up, and it's fantastic. You know, they don't charge any extra for it. It's like, well, people want to see the Klingon Martok. They don't want to. They want to see me, but they want to see Martok. They want to see the guy.
That's
in the
good
costume.
though, like to see, like that they actually. It's good to hear that, like they're into it themselves.
Mhm.
It's nice to know that they're fans of, and they appreciate the fans that they have because of their work. So it's great to hear that.
Yeah, I loved that, and I was lucky enough as well. A couple of years previous to that, I got to go to Celebration London, which is the Star Wars convention. So I've been to two really big conventions in England, and I got to see Mark Hamill up close, and I got to see Carrie Fisher up close, and the entire cast of Rogue One were there, and just absolutely amazing. I love conventions are fantastic, but just going to something like that where there's so many of them. And I talked to Vic about this. I talked to my cousin about this, who's a big nerd as well. If there was one place I want to go, it's San Diego. I want to go to San Diego Comic Con. I want to go there one of these days. I want to spend the 5 days they do it for. I want to be there when they announce something big. That's what I want, because every San Diego Comic Con there's something big. There's always something big. So I want to be there for something like that. You know,
but we did say that. We were talking about hopefully in the next 5 years, me, you, maybe Paulie, and that, like a few of us, we go over and like that. We get tickets for every day, and we go for the full stint of San Diego Comic Con.
I don't care how much it costs. I want to do.
Oh yeah, I don't give a shit either. Yeah,
that'd be like going to WrestleMania. It's it's one of those things you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, and as you said, like if there's ever big announcements, they usually are at San Diego, or the big trailer is it's San Diego, or it's always San Diego, and you're like, gotta go. Like, and I'd say you see all the pictures and see everything else, and it's like, but I think if we'd be doing that as well, I'd want to be going over with that. You can probably have a couple of costumes ready to even like dress up one of the 2 of the days and go. And if you did a day normal clothes, you want to have something that you can do on the different days as well. But
absolutely, you'd want to be able to, like, if you're gonna do it, you do it right. So you'd probably cosplay 1 or 2 of the days out of 5, but you'd enjoy the rest of it.
That's what I mean. Like, I think I'd want to do that, because I think going and cosplaying for 2 of the days or 3 of the days, and then doing the normal clothes for 2 of the days, it's going to be a completely different experience each time as well.
Yeah.
Because on days you're cosplayed, you're probably going to have people wanting to get pictures of you or get pictures together with other people that are cosplaying. And then on the days you're not, you're going to have a bit more freedom of that, and you're going to probably concentrate more on other people who are cosplaying, and you're going to see probably even more, and it's going to be different each time.
There's one guy though in terms of cosplays and conventions in America. There's one guy I really want to meet. Obviously, there's loads of actors I'd love to meet, and I'd love to be there for all of it. But there's one cosplayer that I was like, I have to meet this guy, and it's the real life Peter Griffin. I have to meet him.
Oh, I've seen videos
He
of him.
is
Yeah,
brilliant.
Like just spot on.
Yeah.
How good his like cosplay is. But I mean, when you look, obviously, like at conventions, you get some really good cosplayers. But when you look at videos or photos from American conventions like San Diego Comic-Con, they're next level. Like,
oh yeah,
it's just baffling. Like, you have people that have a fully working like Transformer costume, or a gigantic Thanos, like real life version Thanos. It's crazy level.
The ones that there's some amazing costumes out there, amazing cosplayers out there, but the ones I love the most are the ones you see of Iron Man, because all the different marks.
Oh, there's so many good ones, yeah.
And like there's a guy on Facebook that he makes them, and he's not even in terms of costumes. You're looking for a fully functioning screen actor at Darth Vader. You're talking $5,000. That's how expensive these things are. Like, I'm not going to tell you how much I've spent on costumes because my wife would probably divorce me. But in terms of costumes, this guy is actually quite reasonable for a fully functioning. Even the newest one. What was the newest one? Mark 50, was it from Endgame? Was Mark 50 or 55?
No, that's like Mark 47, is it? No, it's like the Endgame one.
Yeah.
Whatever again, the comics is the bleeding edge armor, but it's not called that in it. It's the nanotech one, but yeah,
the nanotech one.
Yeah.
He makes a fully functioning, and we're talking with lights, with moving parts, everything, and he makes it for about $1,000, which is fantastic. It's fantastic price,
amazing price.
And then you realize, you look at it, it's not plastic, it's not metal, it's actually foam. He makes it foam, but it looks like it's metal. And this guy, it's raw. He's RAW on Facebook. If you haven't looked him up, look him up, because he doesn't only make them; he makes so many different things. But his main thing is Iron Man stuff. But it's
the only thing with
so
foam
good.
is, if it's plastic, if any kind of bend is going to break, foam is probably going to be cheaper to replace as well. It might take a bit of an impact if someone knocks into you.
But it has moving parts, it has lights, it has the sounds. Like, it plays like all the music that Tony has played in the movie. So he plays it, all the music comes out of that. And then Iron Man, obviously, from the first film, the music is fantastic. So it's absolutely brilliant. I love
for a full suit. That's really cheap, because I've seen just buying the helmets. Like that are fully working, that'll open and light up and do, and they're like 250 quid normally, at least, on their own. And you're like a working arc. And I mean, like, I know I built I bought one of the arc reactors, but it came in like 300-400 pieces. You had to build it yourself. And like, that was great crack for me to build as well. But I know once that was finished, that thing is fantastic as well. But I think I'd be worried about bringing that to a Comic-Con or sticking on the front of the suit as well. No one knocked into it and like, what have we done?
There's a couple of guys that I know that have the Iron Man costumes, and I know a guy who he has all the bits to make the costume, and I saw that he has the helmet done, so it's like and it comes up, comes down. It's like, oh my god, I want this. Like, it never fit me. Like, my head is like, people have slagged Jordan Devlin over the years for having a big head. He doesn't have a big head. His head is perfect for the size of his body. Absolutely fine. My head, fucking a boulder. It's huge. Hulk Hogan talks about his 26-inch pythons, whatever inch it was. I've got like a 100-inch fucking head. It's too big. Like, it would look like a Funko Pop Iron Man if I wore a fucking head. Okay.
Might be unique. No one else doing a
Maybe
Funko
it might be unique.
Bit of foam, make it even bigger, like really stand out.
Exactly, yeah, it could be a foam one.
You just stand in the corner and do one of them bobblehead ones.
But all right, as we kind of like bring it to a close, I'll ask you this question, because being a big nerd of different franchises and different, whether it be TV, movies, or otherwise, one prop from any franchise, one that you would love to be real and like to own, what would it be? It's a very tough question.
I let you answer that first, Vic.
I was going to say, I'm going to let you answer.
Okay, well, I obviously I'm a big Star Wars fan, I'm a big Star Trek fan, I'm a big Marvel fan, big Lord of the Rings fan. But if there was one thing that I would want, I'd like to have it like on the wall in the house. It would have to be Stormbreaker. Oh, Stormbreaker is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. As much as I love the hammer, and I'm going to try and say the name for me, Vic.
Mjolnir.
Thank you.
Mjolnir.
I can't say it. But as much as I love the hammer, the Stormbreaker is just yes, Mjolnir.
You were talking about Stormbreaker from the movies, though, aren't you?
Yes, Stormbreaker from the movies.
Yeah, because the Stormbreaker in the comics is Beta Ray Bill's one, and it's like an axe, a small little golden axe. It's
about the same size
as Mjolnir. And it's kind of developed a bit different, but that Stormbreaker one is really, really nice looking, actually.
Yeah, but the one in the movie is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
What about yourself, Vic? What would you go for?
Probably because I've actually looked at making one at the moment. Captain America's shield.
Very nice. Very nice.
Because, well, you know, Jerry, I've been looking at a way I can do it as an actual full-size metal one, and I have developed a little rig that would have an electromagnet on the back, so I can actually let go of the shield, and it would just clamp on.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and I'd love to do that for like a Comic-Con or a cosplay one where I wander around, because then you could just go in like almost normal gear, just with the shield on, and if anyone tried to take it, it's attached to your back by a big electromagnet. You won't take it off, but I have just a release trigger, so I can just take it off when I want then.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But the only problem I have with that is because I want to make it out of metal, and it's 24 inches, it weighs quite a lot.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Well, originally what I did was I took the bonnet off an old car and I cut it.
Oh,
it was metal, and it's bigger than 24 inches, and I just cut the shape and I started doing it, and then I went, nah, this thing weighs a ton. I can't use this. I need to use something lighter.
Vic Viper, he doesn't do things by half.
No, not at all. I think for me, obviously, like a lightsaber. It just like a fictional item, but imagine if it was real. Like,
absolutely.
Like nobody would mess with you, or people would kill you just to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's that cool of an item.
Like I've got a couple of prop ones, you know.
Yeah.
Like I've got a Count Dooku one that's never been at a convention. It's never even really been out of the box.
Man.
But if I can lose a little bit of weight and finally get back into the Count Dooku costume, then you'll see it at a convention. But until then, it's going to stay in the box.
I even have a lightsaber.
It's right down. It's right. Yeah, that's true. Actually, it's right down here. It's down by my leg. You're not seeing it now. You can take off.
The one you gave me is one of the glass ones that can actually be used to actually strike and all. Like, it's a proper solid, big, heavy metal base, and like
proper dueling.
Amazing, unbelievable one. Yeah, like they're a couple of £100 normally, aren't they, as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I have one of them, and I still have it there and sitting there, and it's got the base, and that's beautiful looking.
Because like I think for me, like I love the Qui-Gon Jinn one. The model, I love it. I
like that Moss.
Yeah, like the hilt for it is great.
The dual saber is just beautiful looking. Like, I mean, I think that's much nicer looking than the cross-haired one. Oh, there you go.
And this is not the Count Dooku one.
No, it's not.
I need to take the background off. Hold on, I'll take the background off.
Just move it in front of your face. You can see it.
Oh, there we go. There you go. It's gone. But basically, right, I'm going to back up a little bit. Right, there it is. There, right. This was one that I got because it looked a little bit like Count Dooku's one, but it's actually, I tell you, it's not working at the minute. I need to get it fixed. But that's big. Like, that's quite big.
You beautiful bastard.
It's very heavy. It's really, really heavy. So trying to wield that, like, it's like it wouldn't be one-handed because you'd lose your arm.
Yeah, it's like a cross between like Obi-Wan's and would be Ahsoka's.
That one there. It's kind of the top of it where the emitter would be for the actual lightsaber. It is it's modeled on Dooku's, the curved one at the top. Whereas the bottom half, it's a little bit of Obi-Wan's, it's a little bit of Ahsoka's, even a little bit of Vader's at the bottom there as well. So it's a couple of different ones. That, for me, that one there cost $250. That was 250. The Count Dooku one I have, my wife's gonna fucking kill me, was 600. Just for the 600, yeah, 600 for that one. So this hobby that of ours is not cheap.
No,
it is not cheap.
But
still,
like, like crazy. Like,
this is the thing. If
Here,
you
listen,
go back,
you have to spend your money on something, don't you?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Jared, let's be honest. If I was to go back and look at the amount of money I spent on comic books and paraphernalia and Dragon Ball Z statues,
Yeah.
because I mean, I have hundreds of Dragon Ball Z statues, and like some of the ones I have, like you're saying, 600 quid. You know, one of the main ones I have in my room is 2 foot tall, and it cost me 1,400 quid.
Yeah, you told me about this, and I was like so
Oh,
jealous
you've
when you
seen
told
it.
me.
It weighs like it's carved of wood. It's hand carved, and it weighs a ton. But it also came with a card to show how many and what number this one was made, and that it's a collector's item. And you're like, great. But I'm not too pushed about how many were made of that. It's just like, I love this. I want this.
Yeah.
By the place, and it sits there. And I've loads of other ones around as well that I've spent hundreds on as well. But I'm sure if I go back and look, I think I've bought the price of a house in shite. But it's stuff I love.
Close to, yeah.
Close to it.
Yeah, but I'm never gonna get rid of it. It's
no. Well, it's like my stuff with the Dooku stuff here. You know, I have I have like my little office thing. I'm actually in my kitchen right now, but it's like my little office thing. But there are things that I have on this that I'd never get rid of. Obviously, I've got that lightsaber there. I've got the Count Dooku one that's stored away here. And, you know, if we ever do another podcast, Foxy, I'll show you that. I have my Stormtrooper helmet is directly on top of the computer desk here. He's wearing a cowboy hat at the minute, and my Stormtrooper helmet. There's various other things throughout the house that I have that I just would never get rid of. You know, it's you know, it doesn't matter how much they cost. I just never get rid of it.
A stormtrooper on holiday. That's what that is.
Yeah, well,
Stormtrooper's been on holiday for a long time. It's been sitting in the kitchen for years.
There's a layer of dust on him that the top of him looks grey. The top of the helmet is grey because it's that dusty. Because I just leave him there. He's happy. He's a big smile.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, if you were to go looking for other stuff you had, I'm sure they're in boxes that you haven't taken out in years. Because you even said to me when you were moving house last time, you found the Lord of the Rings. What was the dagger? The one I got.
Sting.
The Sting, yeah.
Yeah. You found that, and you're like, oh, I forgot about that, and it'd been sitting under a bed for how many years?
Yeah, like Sting. Like I know exactly where Sting is now. Sting is, and it's sharpened as well. It's ready to go if anyone comes in that fucking door. Yeah, I've got Sting there. I've got like various little props like that. We've got like Harry Potter stuff. Inside, like in my sitting room, that was supposed to be the throne room. I haven't actually done it yet, but it was going to be a combination of. It'll eventually be a combination of Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and Game of Thrones. All over the walls. I have all the pictures there to go with the frames. I have a couple of props that I want to get. I want to get like what was Jon Snow's sword called?
Longclaw.
Longclaw. That one. I want to get that on the wall, and a couple of different things on the wall in there. In here is more of a futuristic thing, so it's like a Star Wars vibe in here. I have pictures for the wall in here, but this, you know, I want to put Sting on the wall inside as well, and maybe get a few Lord of the Rings props. So loads going on, loads of what I want to do. It's just a matter of winning the lotto and doing it.
That's all right. You know. Jerry, listen, if I win, I'll buy you all the stuff you want, and if you win, you buy all the stuff, and we just split it. It's grand.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm all right
no, actually, you know what? We'll just buy We'll win.
You'll buy two of each.
No. Actually, we'll win the lotto. One of us will win the lotto, right? You buy me. If you win, you buy me a house. If I win, I'll buy you a house. Okay, but then we have to buy a separate house just for the props.
It's just a nerd house.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in for this.
Yeah,
I'm okay with this.
And Foxy's not invited.
No.
No. Do you know what? We can have a little corner room where we can call it the podcast room, and Foxy can come in. And we let him use that to do his podcast, but he's not allowed to see the rest of the house. But he knows what they said.
It's just torture. That's all it is.
He'll come to the door and go,
we'll make one of the walls glass so he can look out and he can see the stuff and he can press against the glass and be like, oh, look at that.
I want to touch it.
There's me holding a real lightsaber. It's like, Vic, throw up another prop. What's that? That's Space Cadet masks. Yeah, throw that up as well, man.
But look, it's been very fun, like just having you on and just talking because we haven't talked in a while.
No.
So it was just it's great to actually catch up and just talk nerdiness. Like hopefully when this thing blows over, we'll be able to actually meet up, maybe have a pint, because it's sorely needed at this point. But
Definitely.
no, if you'd like to plug Anton, feel free. I know Gerry, you would like to plug something.
Yeah,
I have a plug here that goes into the ball.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Talk Nerdy to Me. If you haven't listened to it, it's on Spotify right now. You'll find it on the Low Blows Network, or you can follow me, Gerry Soul, on the Gerry _ Soul on Instagram, Gerry _ Soul, probably in Twitter as well. Can't remember. It's been that long since I actually looked at them properly. But you'll find Talk Nerdy to Me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify. Yeah, don't listen. After you finish listening to this, don't listen to him anymore. Just come listen to me. There's no new podcasts, but it's fine. It's loads of content there.
Come on, I gotta put you over. Come on.
There's a whole 4 shows there.
Yeah, a whole 4 shows with you on them.
It probably is about 4 with me.
Yeah.
We still have to do that follow-up contest with me, Katie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You better believe it. Yeah.
And the debate.
The debate has to happen. Well, no, sorry. There's like 3 or 4 separate debates now. To say it has evolved. It's taken a mind of its own. But no, we will get it eventually. 2023.
Well, I know. I was going to say we've talked about doing different debate ones as well. So, on like DC versus Marvel and
put it this way:
Exactly.
when I stop procrastinating, we'll do it. So never.
Yeah.
You Zoom. You can do the big conference call. There you go.
Well, I have to say this has been going quite well here, so I think I might do one myself. Yeah. So yeah. So Vic, expect a call. Foxy, fuck off.
So,
all right,
Foxy. I'll start my own podcast. No one will listen to it, but it's all right. I'll just start my own. I'll bring it on just so you feel welcomed.
Just so I can feel included. It's like, thank you.
I'll just let you talk about whatever you want because no one's ever going to hear it, so it won't make a difference. And you can do whatever you want.
And on that note, all right, again, thank you very
Hold
much.
on, I didn't get to plug my OnlyFans. I mean,
you know what? Actually,
he got to plug his
funny,
one,
it
right?
was funny talking about me having an OnlyFans. I would not actually be surprised if he did. The things I could tell you,
the difference with your OnlyFans
I could tell you.
You're swinging your tits out. What my OnlyFans is me just eating food like a fat fuck. I reckon there's a market for that as well.
You never know.
Maybe.
But again,
I know.
Thank you.
I know, Foxy. It's been a good laugh. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Gerry, for coming on. And we shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.